Welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro record-breaking cornerback, and the last cornerback to intercept 50 interceptions during the 16-game season era. Clap it up. Saturday Night Vibes, man. We back in the building, man. Oh, man, for the Colorado fans out there, it's not a good night for us. It's not a good night for us, but for all the Coach Prime haters, you are feeling good tonight. Let me bring on my co-host 2-3 Drees tonight, man. We have a lot to talk about tonight.
What's up?
We are a little disappointed in this game tonight, Colorado versus the Houston Cougars, man. Man. I had a lot of expectations coming into this game, hoping to see a little progress from Colorado, and that didn't transpire tonight. So many different things was wrong with Colorado tonight. But first off and foremost, you know, I'm Asante Sammy. That's 2-3 Drees. That's my co-host. And this is Say What Needs to Be Said. And we're going to talk about the game tonight, Colorado versus Houston. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders. There's some drama always following Shedeur Sanders. They can't stop talking about the young man. Let him live his life. Let him live his best life. That's what he deserves to do. And we have to talk about the big fight coming up tomorrow. Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. If you don't know, both of us, we are two boxers that like boxing, and we have a boxing background with a lot of experience. So we are going to get into this Colorado, man. Y'all talk to us in the chat. You know, we talk back. Let us know what you think about the game. I see overall player rating, giving a full breakdown of what the game playing, you know, what ended up transpiring in the game of why Colorado wasn't victorious tonight, man. And yeah, he pretty much covers a lot of ground. Yes, he does. Man, so first of all, man, Colorado has to figure out who the starting quarterback will be in the future, man, coming up soon. Ryan Staub wasn't quite efficient enough to be the main guy. Unless he finds out there isn't a better option at quarterback, then he has to stick with Ryan Staub. Ryan Staub finished the game 19 of 35, 204 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And we know Colorado lost this game to Houston, 20-33. A lot of these yards and touchdowns came at the garbage time of the game, when it doesn't really mean you're trying to, Colorado trying to come back and get into the game. Colorado defense gave up a whopping 400 yards, over 400 yards in total offense. And Houston Cougars offense and offensive attack was pretty much a balanced attack with over 200 yards passing and 200 yards rushing. And didn't look good tonight. Didn't look good. Started off bad.
And you said Houston got over 400 yards in total offense. That was the first time getting that many yards in over 21 games. So they had like a breakout game against that defense.
Yeah. And, this was a sign. This was a tale of the signs from, Colorado first 2 games, and the last game being against Delaware. Delaware isn't the type of competition that you should be giving up yardage and playing a tough match against. And then Georgia Tech game, I thought it was a lot of misdirection that was tricking, or fooling Colorado's defense. So I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe they will get it together, man. And it's not looking too swell. It's not looking too good. Ryan Staub got the start tonight for Colorado tonight, right? He got the start. He was elected. I agree with that. Ryan Staub got the start. And I was surprised Coach Prime stuck with Ryan Staub the entire game after what was going on out there on offense. Staub didn't look as good as he did last week against Delaware. Obviously, the competition is 2 different levels of competition, but he didn't look as good, confident, and so on and so forth. And it's a difference between starting a football game and coming in emergency situations as backup. Teams aren't really preparing for you. So you get a little one-up, a little advantage if that's what you want to look at. That's how you want to look at it. And I can't lie, man. I was ready to see Julian Juju Lewis get in the game, and he didn't get into the game. If Y'all was here for the last live. I said I expect to see both quarterbacks, Ryan Staub and Julian Lewis, because these two quarterbacks are possibly the future for Colorado. But I don't know, man. Maybe something happened.
Yeah, one thing we both liked about Staub last week that we mentioned was him taking shots downfield. And he didn't take any shots downfield until the fourth quarter. We didn't get much of that today. And then you were saying you was hoping that Juju get in. At one point did you think, like, well, what did you hope to see Juju get in the game?
Man, I was thinking like after the first 3 to 4 series when Colorado was going 3 and out. They couldn't really, the first drive, Colorado had the ball for about 5 minutes. Time of possession was about 5 minutes. So that was pretty good, even though they didn't get any touchdowns or they, didn't get a field goal or anything like that. And then, the second series was 3 and out, and then nothing. Offense couldn't get anything going. They couldn't get anything going on offense. Ryan Staub, like I said, didn't look like himself or look like he looked against Delaware. So I was ready. I was itching. I was like, okay, this is time for Julian Lewis to get in the game and redeem himself and show what he can do. But that never happened. At the same time, that's a good sign for the quarterback as well. It's like, okay, Coach Prime shows his quarterback that he will stick with the guy, whether he's doing good or bad, and give him the chance to redeem himself and gain that confidence. But I was ready to see Juju Lewis. And that brings another good point because, Pat Schumer gets most of the blame on offense, but that wasn't the case tonight. Ryan Staub just wasn't making good, accurate throws against Houston tonight. Accuracy was a big, big, big issue for Ryan Staub in this game. And if y'all didn't notice, at one point against Houston during the 2-minute drill, I saw Ryan Staub lose a little confidence in his throws and him throwing the ball against Houston defense. And then he started looking for the run before the offensive plays could even had a chance to develop. And when you see things like that happen to your players, you have to adjust. But at the same time, Ryan Staub was still effective with his legs and got in the 2 minutes. He led Colorado to a touchdown. But at the same time, I'm looking. It's different ways you have to evaluate your players. You have to know your players. And once they start losing confidence, that is a big issue for defense, offense, or whatever teams that is going on out there, man. The 2-minute drill. 2-minute drill. Even though they got 2 points, it was very ugly. That 2-minute drill was ugly, man. Ugly.
I feel like that Colorado could have did a better job of establishing a run. The 2 best drives that Colorado did have, they ran the ball well. But for your running backs to have 12 total carries the whole game, that's not good. That's not good.
But when you're playing from behind and you feel like you're in chase mode the whole game, it kind of forces you psychologically that you think you have to continue to pass. And it's a good thing you bring up this the run. Colorado should have tried to get a run game going, right? What I don't like about today's game, man, everything is done from the shotgun. They want to run quarterback sneaks from the shotgun, run plays from the shotgun, line up in regular pro formation and run the ball, man. Run different, run plays from the pro set. Let your team understand that we can be physical, because the offensive line, don't get it twisted. Offensive line would rather run plays than pass plays, because that gives the offensive line a chance to be physical, tee off. They can come off the ball and tee off on the defensive lineman. Whereas offensive linemen, when it's a pass play, they have to sit back and do the catch and the technique. Whereas, the defensive line is streaming down their throat. So,
it was getting behind.
Man, I don't like that about. I don't like how these new generation offensive coordinators come in and think that this is the new way and this is how it's supposed to be done. You have to start with the basics. I'm training kids these days, and I'm training one of my good friends, my nephew, and I had to instill the drop back pass to him because he didn't understand what I was trying to teach him or make him understand and learn the basics. As soon as he started quarterbacking, they teaching him to catch the balls from the shotgun. And it's like anything you do in life, you have to learn the basics first. You can't, you can't skip over steps. You can't cheat the process. Everybody has to go through the process to get to where you need to be,
And that was one thing in Jackson Dart recruiting to like his interviews and all that stuff at the combine. He never took a snap under center in college.
There will be so many quarterbacks that continue to come up and go into the college ranks and to the NFL ranks that never took a snap under the center. You know what I mean? Only maybe like you say emergency quarterback situations and things like that. That is just ridiculous to me. And that's just, people want to come and reinvent the wheel and think they're teaching new things. And, it's I hate to see it because I, if y'all know me and understand, y'all rock with me, you understand I'm a technique guy. There's a technique in everything you want to do, find that technique and, learn the fundamentals. But another thing from Colorado that I noticed this season so far in these 3 games they played against Georgia Tech, Delaware, and now the Houston Cougars is that Colorado needs to start fast, man. They do not start fast. They are not a fast starting team, and that's one part about football. You teach that. Jump on them fast. Come out with that energy. Come out with that swag and come out there playing fast and start fast and jump on them. And, that was the difference tonight. Colorado seemed like they came out dead and a little sluggish and whatnot. This was a away game, right? And this was the first away game for Colorado Buffaloes. That's no excuse, but there are a lot of adjustments you have to take into fact if when you playing away, right? Traveling, you have to travel. You have to prepare for travel. You have to make sure the players are hydrated. Your legs and your body adjusts differently to the long flights and things like that. And maybe Colorado wasn't as prepared to play a away game as they thought. You have to have those preparations in practice and during the week, things like that, man. And that's what it seemed like, man. They came out dead and sluggish, maybe because of a long traveling trip, And
that defense need to wake up, man. Colorado going 3 and out, then the defense be on the field for a long time. You gotta switch that time possession because Colorado only had the ball for 23 minutes the entire game.
Yeah, that's awful, man. And we're talking about defense, and here is the basis on defense, right? And if Colorado doesn't get some big time recruits up front on defense, it will be hard for them to dominate in the Big 12 like Coach Prime wants to do, right? It's hard for them to even compete with what they have in the run game, right? They need those recruits to be able to get that leverage, win the initial point of contact at the line of scrimmage. You need those players that can dominate and do those things. Right now, they have a bunch of average-looking players right now. I'm not going to say they're average. I'm going to say they're average-looking. They're average-looking out there right there. There is no push at line of scrimmage. What is big number 94? I see him swimming and turning around and getting pushed side to side. You should be going forward. They should be going forward. Right. And right now that defense isn't stopping the run pretty much at all. If anything, consistently, because in the second half and the second quarter, everything, the momentum started to change, and defense started playing good as well as the offense started putting some plays together. But they got to get some dogs up there. Coach Prime got to get up there. He has to go to Alabama and Georgia, just like Nick Saban did for the University of Alabama. Go get them big dogs, them big hogs, big strong country brute strength boys out there that don't even lift weights. They just cut trees and do landscaping work and things like that. That's who we need to go recruit. Stay out of Florida and Texas where all the athletes and speed at, man. Gotta go into the country. Gotta go into the backwoods of Georgia in all these country places. Go find those big country hogs out there, man. You gotta be stern in the trenches, man. You have to dominate in the trenches if you want to be any good, especially on the college football level. Alabama coach Nick Saban, man, he gave the blueprint for everyone. He gave the blueprint. He had from the first string to the second string defensive linemen, all of them were top 20 picks. All of them could be first rounders. Every one of them could be first round. And I think pretty much 90% of them were first rounders. Yeah, and that's for real, you know.
Yeah, because Houston, they had a, they got a pocket quarterback in Connor Wegman, and they had a lot of designed runs for him today. He ended up running for 88 yards against their defense.
Yeah, and that was a lot of design too. Yeah, that was a part of the issue too. Containment. One of the main things we stress on defense is containment. You don't want to let anything bounce outside because we're taught to push everything back inside to the defenders. So that was a big issue tonight for Colorado's defense, you know. But when Colorado got back in the game, what transpired to get Colorado back in the game? There was a big momentum shift, and it was a reason. Did anyone notice? What did we notice to get Colorado back in the game on defense? What you got, Dries? Did you notice?
On defense?
Yeah. What did Colorado do to stop they started stopping Houston or making them go 3 and out and things like that. What happened? What transpired? Anyone notice?
Let us know.
Man, Colorado changed that momentum when the defensive coordinator started blitzing. And they came around the second quarter. Everything changed when Robert Livingston started blitzing. He started bringing them blitzes from every which way. And once Colorado started blitzing, it was, they were stopping Houston. They started making some stops. But I don't like that for Colorado because that was the only way they can get pressure on Houston, by blitzing. And if you want to be a dominant team, like I'm saying, you should be able to get pressure with no more than 5 defensive linemen or 5 people rushing the quarterback. But we had to, Robert Livingston, the defensive coordinator of Colorado, he had to draw up all type of different blitzes to get pressure and cause confusion for the Houston Cougars. Now it was working. Everything worked great. Pressure was getting applied. But then you leave everyone on an island most of the time. And this is a zone blitz. But there wasn't zone blitz. There was a lot of man-to-man coverage out there tonight. And then those blitzes were coming, and then containment will break down. And that's when you see Connor Wigman bounce outside for the 49-yard big game and bust Colorado's defense pipe. So I would have liked to see Robert Livingston mix it up a little bit. Now it was working. He was mixing it up, but it came at some times where Houston knew the blitz was coming in. They just adjusted to the play calling screens, calling quarterback keepers, and it really hurt. It really hurt Colorado. Really hurt Colorado. Yeah, from screen plays, running plays to the quarterback keeping the ball. All those plays was bad tonight when it came to containment for the defense. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I just didn't see that conscious effort from the defense to contain anybody. I just didn't see that conscious effort, right? It's like, are we being taught this in practice? Do we understand what containment means? Because you have containment from the offensive, from the defensive lineman to us back there. Like, as soon as the ball bounces outside to me as a cornerback, I lock on to my receiver and I make sure I maintain containment on the outside. And if he pushes, and if the runner runs, cuts up inside of us, and I can't make the tackle, I just squeeze the hole down, and I push him into the runner. And that's how you're supposed to maintain your outside leverage. Whereas if I try to peek in and act like I'm making a tackle, he bounces outside. And now it makes it harder for all my help, my inside pursuit to get to the runner. So that's why it was most important. I think they need to have a big emphasis on that in practice this week. Just going forward, man, make sure we always got contained on the runner, you know.
But how did you feel, other than the containing part, how did you feel about the corner play? Because there's a lot of times there was one-on-one out there on the island. How did you feel about that?
Man-to-man coverage was a big issue on defense. You know, to start the game off from the beginning, it was a big issue. That became a problem, not just in coverage, but all around, right? Man-to-man just doesn't solve the issue on defense. And you'll see a lot of times defensive coordinators, that's all they could think of. And then if you don't cover your man, you're going to automatically get the blame. That's the chump way out in my eyes, right? For a defensive coordinator, you know. And like I said, it's not just on the back end, but also, like I said, containing the quarterback and not just letting him hit the defense with those big runs, right? That's when Conor Weigman hit, Colorado's defense of 49 yards. It was in man-to-man defense. And he said it just looked like there was no containment. Didn't look like that was a big emphasis on defense. Make sure we have containment. And a lot of lanes opened up as well, A lot of lanes both opened up as well.
For sure.
But if y'all didn't know or didn't realize, in the beginning of the season last year for Colorado, they pretty much had the same problem, stopping the run. Giving up too many big plays in the beginning of the season, not being physical enough up front. But by mid-season, Colorado was a much more disciplined team at the line of scrimmage on defense, as well as being a more physical team on defense at the defensive line. So, some reason everything just starts slow in Colorado, man. They started slow with coaching the players. They start slow with stopping the run, and by the time the middle of the season come, everything is clicking. They started clicking left and right, man. So, man, hopefully it's the same scenario this season because, we'll see, man. And I just want to see some more recruits too, man. They got to get some more recruits out there. I don't see the speed at receiver that I'm sure Coach Prime would love to have out there. So, yeah, man.
Yeah. A lot of times, a lot of people talk about missing Travis Hunter and Shedeur, but they also lost 4 other receivers to the NFL too. So replacing all those offensive weapons, you can see so far it's been a struggle trying to figure out who's the next guy up. Yeah, man, for sure. That's like you said, that's a big deal. Losing 4 receivers, Travis Hunter, Horn, was it Horn and Weaver? I really like Horn. What's his name? Jimmy Horn? Yeah, he went to USF first.
He did? Oh, man.
Yeah, he was at USF.
That's news. That's breaking news to me. I didn't realize that. Jimmy Horn, he was one of those quick, fast, talented, he can go 0 to 60 real quick. You know what I mean? And I don't really see that type of talent right now on the team. Got to get in the recruiting portal. Go get some dogs. Go get some speed out there.
Man, I thought Sincere Brown was the guy, but he had 2 catches today for 15 yards. The last week he had more than 100 yards, so he's not the guy. So
he's not really a speedy guy either. But they have athletes and playmakers now. All these guys are talented and they can make plays, but you have to have that speed and explosiveness, man, to make it do what it do, man. You got to have that speed and explosiveness. But we got to talk about Shedeur Sanders, man. I don't know if y'all been hearing the drama and the things that's going on up there in Cleveland for the Cleveland Browns, but we have to talk about it, man. I do not like what I'm hearing coming out of Cleveland. I don't like what I'm hearing. Man. And, man, if this is true, it's time for Shedeur Sanders to get the hell up out of Cleveland. If this is true from what I'm hearing, it's time for Shedeur to get the hell up out of Cleveland. How and where? Don't know. But why would a team draft a quarterback with so much potential and handle him like what the Cleveland Browns are doing to Shedeur Sanders? For players in the NFL, especially a quarterback, there is only one way for them to get better and continue to make progress. And how a quarterback continues to get better and continue to make progress is preparing as if he's about to play in a game, any given moment. Right? He has to continue to prepare. He has to take reps. Because you never know when your number will be called. And when a player's opportunity arises and he is presented a chance to go out there and show what he can do, if that player fails, there is no excuse for that player to be performing at a high level. They will treat that player just as that player has been taking every rep with first team or second team reps. There are no excuses. And if the team doesn't like what they're seeing, they will look quickly to move on. They wouldn't hesitate one bit. That's how the game goes. That's the nature of the business. Now, it doesn't sound like Shedeur is getting normal opportunity he should be getting to prepare for a game in Cleveland, in practice, from what we're hearing, man. And I don't understand, because I can't think of an excuse that the Cleveland Browns can have for letting Shedeur not take any reps in practice. I can't fathom the fact that the Cleveland Browns are not letting Shedeur Sanders take any reps in practice. And you got a lot of haters out here. So I'm hoping this is just hater talk. Now, understand this too. For a lot of y'all out there that didn't make it to the NFL or never, practiced and seen what practice goes like, right? Scout team reps are not as big of a deal as long as reps with the players that have a chance playing on the game day are given. You see what I'm saying? So you don't really need practice squad reps with the scout team as long as you're practicing with the players that may be playing in the game. Now, these guys out of Cleveland, Tony Rizzo, on the Tony Rizzo show, these guys out of Cleveland on the Tony Rizzo show are some big-time Shedeur Sanders haters, right? They are some big-time Shedeur Sanders haters. And they can't wait, every chance they get, they can't wait at any opportunity they get to make a negative situation about anything they can concerning the young brother, Shedeur Sanders. And I don't even think this topic was necessary. But somehow, some way, they find a way to bring Shedeur Sanders up in this negative light and try to make the young brother look bad, like he did something to them. It's like, to some of these people, it's personal.
For no reason.
No reason.
Is not even running scout team. He's literally watching everyone play. Bailey Zappi's running scout team. I don't know if that's true. That's what I'm hearing. Why is he on the team? Why is he even here? If that's what you think about, because his jersey is selling, the Haslam's don't need jersey money, do they?
No, they don't.
Then why is he on the team if he's not even running scout team? Which
He's
I don't
a
know.
developmental project, Riz.
I'd love to ask him. Now today is Stefanski's day to cop out, which I love.
Yes, he gives the coordinators.
So smart.
Yeah.
Somebody better ask Tommy Reese whether Shedeur's running scout team or not, because I heard he's not.
So you clearly heard him say on the Tony Rizzo? Yeah, the Tony Rizzo show. I think I'm hearing he doesn't know, but he's ready to spread this news out. He's ready to get this out. He's ready to jump on the podcast and tell the world that he's heard, and he's not sure that Shedeur Sanders is not even getting reps with the scout team. So why is he even on the team? Just sounds like hate and strife and envy, right? But my thing to Cleveland, man, if Shedeur isn't getting any reps, not just on practice squad, then Kevin Stefanski is basically a liar. When it comes to the development of those young players that they draft, per his words. You know, why would the Browns draft Shedeur and give him the type of treatment or give him this type of treatment? Just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. And you heard him, you know, we all know if you follow Cleveland Browns, Bailey Zappi was signed to the practice squad and he's running the scout team. He's the scout team quarterback. So he's supposed to, you know, take the majority of the scout team reps. That's just how it's supposed to go. He's the practice squad quarterback. He runs the scout team. So that's no surprise. But whatever is happening up there in Cleveland, man, is definitely intentional. They not hiding. I just don't understand why I can't put my finger on it, man. I just don't.
There's no injury report on him or nothing. He's just not getting reps.
No injury report, nothing. You know, they tried it in training camp with the oblique and the arm sore and things like that. Now they just being, you know, straight blatant with it. It's like Shedeur Sanders, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's true. We're just going. We are reacting to what they're talking about on the Tony Rizzo show. So I don't know if it's true. It sounds like this can be a fiction movie. So I'm hoping it's not true. You know,
right.
But I know everyone speculates and throws the idea of the Cleveland Browns aren't doing right about Shedeur Sanders and trading Shedeur Sanders. A lot of people throw that idea around, and it sounds good. It sounds like a good idea, and it's fun to talk about. But the politics of the game wouldn't make sense for Shedeur Sanders to be traded because he doesn't have that type of value as a trade candidate. So if Shedeur gets an opportunity to play, like I predicted during mid-season, week 8, 9 to 10, and they choose to go with Bailey Zappi, that would be a travesty, man. That would be a travesty right there, man. I'm telling you, all hell will break loose. But if the things that we're hearing is true, Joe Flacco is not going to be running the quarterback. He's not going to be running that offense for very long, per my words. So then comes Dylan Gabriel. And if they're trying to bring Bailey Zappi along to say he should be in front of Shedeur Sanders,
no way.
Oh man, that is going to be some smoke in the city. There will be some smoke in the city. I could bet you that. You know what I mean? Whoever drafted Dylan Gabriel for the Cleveland Browns, man, really believe in him, and they really believe in Dylan Gabriel. And he may be the coach's pick to take over as the official starting quarterback after Joe Flacco is finally pulled, and they say they had enough of Joe Flacco. And if that's true, man, we have to wait and see. But I don't know. Somebody loves Dylan Gabriel over there, and they really are protecting and doing whatever they can to make sure he is safe. On the other hand, it's like, man, Shedeur Sanders, whatever, it's your turn to get a rep. All right, the equipment guy's out there. He's lined up, man. Everybody's moving to the next drill. It's like, but he's still humble with it, man. He's still humble. He still keep his faith. He's still a believer. He's, it's just I can imagine, man, this is one of the toughest situations to be in as an athlete, have so much popularity and so much expectations and, just for some, when you leave it, when it's up to man, right? And everything is in man's hand. They can take you down. They could take you down.
Man, it's just part of the story, man. It's gonna make a story even greater at the end because he's gonna come out of this
the story even greater at the end, man. It's gonna make the story even greater at the end. Got to keep believing, keep supporting Shedeur, man. Go buy some more jerseys, God dog it. Hey, tomorrow night, man, we got a big fight this weekend, man. Terrence Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, man. Who do y'all think will pull this fight off, man? Does Canelo Alvarez have the advantage over a smaller Terrence Crawford coming up in 2 weight classes? That's a drastic come up in weight. Y'all don't know, man. 233 has has a long boxing background as well as myself, man. He's been in the amateur ranks for a while. His daddy had him boxing, and y'all know me, man. Y'all know me. I'm a counter puncher, man. But y'all need to tune into that fight tomorrow. We're gonna break it down and we have to talk about it. But who you got, man? Who you got in this fight coming up, man? What do you think?
Man, this is a huge
who has
fight.
the advantage? What do you see? You know, give us a little analysis, a little evaluation of, what you see coming in this fight.
Man, this is a huge fight, man. You got two superstars at top of their game getting ready to meet. We needed some boxing because a lot of boxing is a lot of ducking going on. But for me, for this fight, man, I've been going back and forth for a while. I think I finally decided today on who I got on winning this fight, man.
Me too.
I think I finally decided today.
It's kind of like the Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford fight. It's kind of like the same scenario. Everybody's going back and forth. At one point in time, those two was my favorite fighters. It's like they was both even on my ranking list, and it was like you couldn't really separate the two. And then when Bud got in front of Errol Spence, man, he made Errol Spence look like a rookie amateur. Like it wasn't even that type of contest, man. Really, man. But go ahead.
Man, they actually faced off today and they weigh in. They both came in the exact same weight, 167.5. But this is natural for Canelo Alvarez, man. Canelo's been this size for a while. Yes. And Terrence Crawford is moving up 2 weight classes. Even before that, when he fought Errol Spence before, he was 147. He only fought at 154 for one fight. And that fight was kind of a struggle for him because Ishmael, he was handling his punches really well. So I didn't see Bud hurt Ishmael at 154. So I can't see him hurting Canelo at 167. Even though Bud is a dog, Bud can fight really, really good. I don't think his power will carry up to that weight. And I think Canelo power is already there.
You notice this, like Bud power comes from counterpunching a lot of times. So he not really hurting people just off of wearing. Yeah, some people, he get the best of them, mano y mano, but he really hurts you when he counterpunches, as well as Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is a counterpuncher as well. But my main thing is how Terrence Crawford stops Canelo from walking him down, because Canelo Alvarez, he don't really move around anymore like he used to back in the days. He's getting a little older. He boxes and matches like he spars. He sits in the pocket and he's not moving. He's coming. So I talked to my coach today, man. He kind of made me, go back and forth with who I had winning, right? And one thing he did say that really resonated well, he was like, man, go back and look at that fight, Caleb Plant against Canelo Alvarez. And it was like Canelo Alvarez could not catch or keep up with Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was too athletic, moving his feet, all these good things. But at the same time, Caleb Plant, he gets winded very early. So he gets winded around 6-7 round, and he couldn't move no more. And that's when Canelo Alvarez caught up with him. Started putting them paws on him. That's when he started putting them paws on him, boys. So who you got, man? Who you got coming up in this fight, man? This big mega fight coming up.
Man, listen, I'm taking Canelo, man. I just decided today. I've been going back and forth this whole time. I'm gonna take Canelo, man. I love Bud though, man. I won't be surprised. I would still be happy if Bud still win this fight, man. But I gotta choose a side, so that's the side I'm choosing, man.
So your thing is, we gotta choose a side. So your thing is basically Bud won't be able to hurt Canelo, and that's why Canelo wins the fight.
Yeah, I don't think so. Cause just think about that last fight they did at 154. His only fight at 154 with Ishmael, and Ishmael was not even nowhere compared close to Canelo. Yeah, and it was like a struggle for him there. And I mean, he won that fight, but it wasn't like a clear domination as it should have been.
Yeah, I remember. I can't, I'm bad with these names, but it was one fight when Bud, he had one of his biggest fights at that time of his life. It was a championship fight. It was one of these guys. I think he was from Ukraine or somewhere. I was just talking about this fight with LaShawn McCoy. He had just brought up his name. But what was so impressive about that fight is Bud. He was a smaller guy, obviously, and he moved around that whole fight. And that's what made me have a different respect for Bud. When I say move around, right, he moved his feet. just like the same type of fight that Caleb Plant fights, right? But he didn't get tired. And we all know Terrence Crawford has more, way more power than Caleb Plant in my eyes, in my opinion. So I think, Terrence Crawford, and he's a little older now, so you have to put that in, put that into account. Terrence Crawford's a little older, so he might not be able to move around and, have as much stamina as he did in that fight. But I see Terrence Crawford moving around, being a quicker, more athletic fighter, and just tagging Canelo, just tagging him. But if he does get caught and Canelo catches him with one of those left hooks or a right hand, I don't know if Terrence Crawford is going to be able to handle and come back from one of those punches. That's the biggest question in my eyes, And
another thing is the layoff for Bud. Bud hasn't fought a fight in over a year, and then before that, it was a year before that. So he fought 2 fights in 2 years. Like when you talk about when he was active and all that stuff, he was fighting constantly. So it's a little different when you're fighting constantly than you got that long layover of having 2 fights in the past 2 years. So that might help. That might affect Bud in the ring as well. Because you just like football, you can practice all day in football, but it's a difference when you play in the game. It's a game shape and it's fighting shape. You know what I mean? So that can like slow him because Canelo been way more active in the past 2 years than Bud has been.
Yeah.
That can play a part as well.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, man, it's going to be an exciting fight, man. I don't know, man. Bud, he's out there really chasing greatness. How, we see all these other boxers ducking each other and acting like they need to get paid this to fight this. And, come to find out the promoter was paying them way more than they ever made and things like that. So, Terrence Crawford, he ain't ducking no smoke. He's trying to achieve greatness for real. You understand what I'm saying? He's a real dog. He's a real dog, man. And let me tell you, one thing, he has that wrestling background that really helps him in these fights. Y'all understand, once you get in and you lock up and I'm a little stronger than you and you can't control me, that takes energy. It takes, so that's going to be a surprising moment for Canelo right there, for both of them. I think Canelo thinks, his legs is much stronger than Crawford's, and he's going to be able to move and wrestle him around easy. And I think that is going to be a big surprise to Canelo, man. So we'll see. The legs are very important and a big deal in boxing. So we'll see. Big fight.
I hear what you said. Who you got?
Who do I got? I'm going with Terrence Crawford. I'm going with Terrence.
All right.
So you got Canelo. I got Bud Crawford, man. So hey, we got to talk about that, man. And Colorado Buffaloes next game, man. They are playing Wyoming, man. And I don't even know anything about Wyoming yet this year.
That's Josh Allen school.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
That's the only person I know that went there.
Actually, one of my homies from back at home, man, Bumby T, signed with them coming out of high school. So I'm familiar with him, but I don't know anything about him. We're gonna see what Coach Prime to do if they could bounce back. Juju Lewis is probably gonna be the starting quarterback unless he decides to go back to the veteran and not look into the future. So we have to wait and see, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to JT, always in the building. Jamela, I see Jamela. Yeah, ain't no manual. Always showing love. L-Dub, my day ones. And Jamela say Crawford. Everybody know Crawford. Huge fight coming up.
Yeah, he definitely got a chance to make history, being undisputed 4 different times, man.
Yeah, 4 different weight classes.
Yeah, he gonna be going down in history as one of the greatest if he could pull this off, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope he ain't bit off too much more than he can chew. So we'll find out tomorrow, baby. We're gonna find out tomorrow. Are there any undercards in this fight? I ain't really heard of
the undercards. Yeah, I don't think there's any good ones that stand out. I mean, all eyes gonna be on them, man, because it's two of the top guys.
Yeah. All right. I'm Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel. That's
your boy 2-3 Drees.
And we're gonna see y'all next time because we are